how to know that the things that you're putting in place are working. Back to that example. People just start doing cardio all the time. They start doing sit-ups to try and target here, and they start eating healthier. They'll do it for months and they'll go, I have no idea if this is working. Or like 4 weeks into the gym, you're trying really hard, you're giving it a go, you're like, I don't know if this is working, I suck, I'm just gonna stop. It's not because you're not doing the wrong thing, it's because you're just not tracking to see if you're on the right track. And this is gonna tell you that you are on the right track. How do we know if we are losing fat? We want to confirm that your body weight is trending down over about a 2 to 3 week period. If it is trending down, we know for certain that you're in a deficit. Now, people will often look at their body weight once a week, and they might not even know they're doing it in different conditions. One's in the morning and then one's in the evening when they've eaten a bunch. They might not have gone to the toilet. You can actually fluctuate your body weight by 2 to possibly even 6 kilos just in a day. That has nothing to do with body fat.
All right, so this is showing you why we don't just take one data point of us getting on the scales. This is actual client data that I've taken. Everyone can do all the right things, eat healthy, run, get the steps up, look at what their food, protein, all that sort of stuff, and then they can go, that feeling of getting on the scales, like, yes, I'm gonna see that drop, you're gonna get that dopamine hit, you're gonna go, yes, what I'm doing is working, and then you get on the scales the week later, and it's 1.3 kilos heavier. What do you think is going to stop you from trying, progressing, having any sort of motivation whatsoever? This. And it's just because you're not doing the tracking part correctly. You're using the scales, but you're not doing it properly. So this is actual client data that I've taken, week 1 versus week 2. What we need to be doing is doing it every single day. Every single day. If we take data points every single day, and he also missed a day here, could have even been lighter or heavier, whatever, and then it's actually had a big drop the week after, but I've just taken the, like if he weighed himself even on the Sunday and then the day after, and it's had a massive up, that doesn't matter. We have ups on the weekends and things like that, as long as it's trending downwards. And that's why we take the averages of the 2 weeks and then look at what the weight change was. We can see that there was a weight change of 935 grams. So a kilo. We're trending down a kilo week to week, not going up 1.3 kilos. In the morning time after we go to toilet, that's when you weigh yourself. Those are the most fixed conditions. And these were still in fixed conditions, but you just took one from each week. So that's why we do it properly.
Water, inflammation, where you are in the menstrual cycle, whether you've gone to the toilet, how many carbs you have influences how much water you have because you hold a lot of water. Whether you've gone for a run, there's all these things that fluctuate your weight, and you're gonna get on the scales. You might have gone for a run, you're super inflamed because you've had a hard day of work. You look down, it's 2 kilos heavy, you're like, hard distinction here. Body weight, the number on the scale, does not equal body fat. The number on the scale does not represent how you feel about yourself. It's one metric that we're going to use to see if we're on the right track with something. So why you shouldn't worry about that is a whole other video. But here's a quick one. If I just snap my fingers and gave you 3 kilograms of muscle right now, would you be upset with the 3 kilo spike on the scale? Also, when you start tracking your body weight every day, you become less sensitive to the fluctuations because you see them and realize that it's a natural consequence of what's happening and life. So you see those fluctuations, but we also are going to see that there's a trend down or whatever you want to happen, and that makes it okay. So when we track weight, it needs to be in the morning time, after you go to the toilet, before you eat. Those are the most fixed conditions, and that is going to reduce any of those other situations and conditions that will conflate the data. Once we get 2 weeks of data and we take the average of week 1 and compare it to the average of week 2, if there is a loss, that means we are in a deficit. If there is a gain, that means we're in a surplus. And if there's no change, or I would say a difference of 100 grams or 150 grams less, you're in maintenance. Like if you see a minus 50 grams, that's maintenance. If you're in a bulk, you want to be gaining weight at between 0.25 and 0.75% of body weight per week. The sheet that you'll be able to download will calculate this for you. People who are trying to lose fat, you want to lose between 0.8 and 1.25% of your body weight per week. Again, if you do not have that large caveat of weight training and high protein, these numbers mean nothing. You can download your tracking sheet within this module. All right, how do we know that our fitness or cardio is improving? Number 1, you're enjoying your cardio modality more than before. Number 2, you're doing the same amount of distance but faster. Number 3, you're doing the same distance but for a lower RPE, meaning it's not as difficult. So last week you did 200 meters and then this week you did 200 meters, but you're not nearly as cooked. Number 4, you're doing the same speed, so you're keeping the same pace, but you're doing a longer distance. Number 5, you can sustain your efforts for a longer period of time. There's different ways to track this, but it completely depends what modality you're doing. If it's the tennis example, it's more of a subjective, you know that you're getting fitter. If you're using like a treadmill at the gym, it will give you paces and distances, all that sort of stuff. That's when you can just write down what you're doing and then look at your progression over time. All right, how do we know we're getting stronger? Number 1, you're moving more load. Number 2, you're moving the same amount of load, but for more reps. Number 3, you're doing the same amount of reps, but you're moving more load. Number 4, you're moving more load and more reps. Number 5, everything is the same on one particular movement. You might have lifted the same weight, 20 kilos, and you might have done 3 sets of 10. The other exercises in that session, you might have 4 or 5 exercises. The load on those things increased. Therefore, your overall session volume and load went up. Another thing that you can look at in your program sheet and that shows you that. How do we know that our energy levels are increasing? How do we know that we're getting more structure, self-confidence, we're more active? How do we know these things? We can use a lot of subjective markers. Do you have more confidence in what you're doing? Do you think that it's the right path? Are you saying, yes, this is right for me? Have your energy levels increased during the day? Have other people said, wow, you got a bit of a glow about you? Or they're telling you, your mood's improved. Is your self-confidence going up? Is structure and discipline being asked of you? You're therefore implementing it and you're getting a sense of freedom from doing it. Have you got more drive? Do you feel less sluggish when you wake up or during the day? Are you sleeping better? Are you feeling more disciplined, structured, and organized? If any of these are ticking over in the upward direction, yes, this is the right thing. And you can, if you want, even do objective markers. Are you drinking more water? You can go to the doctors and get blood tests done. Some of you may have started this journey because your doctor might have told you something along the lines of like, you are pre-diabetic, you need to do something about this. There are companies and people that do very thorough blood work and health markers that you can compare to the start of your health and fitness journey to any time in the future. Also something else from the book Outlive by Peter Attia. The last metric of success for all of them. Are you being consistent and are you adhering to all of these things? If you are then able to sustain these things for a long time. And that inevitably is the thing that will bring you results.